Greetings and salutations, YouTubers and malefactors. We're here at Stoplogic Motorsports at a friend's house doing some work. So, unfortunately, my time off of work and the lack of garage and the lack of daylight's a bit of a time crunch. We're looking at a IMS tank, a couple of auxiliary lights, which I'll link in the description, a wiring harness, and then if you know, mood strikes me, I also have an LED light to add to the front end. But we're getting underway, moving as quick as I can to disassemble this bike. Hopefully I pulled my bike key out so I could unlock this thing. I went ahead and left this thing out in the elements last night to get all the dirt from the ride off. I'm just staying various places up here in DFW right now, so till we get moved. Let's see. Normally these under the seat are 8mm, but this is an SAE toolkit. So I'm going to be using a 5/16, it looks like. Yep. Do all this with the handy dandy ratchet driver. Or ratchet. Nurse ratchet. Alright, let's let you loosey. So, working on the tank and all that stuff. To do this, your first step will be remove your seat. And my friend is very insistent on not revealing this location, so we're gonna keep it on the DL where I'm at. I'll go as far as say I'm in DFW. Huh, a little dirty in there. Probably I need to service that air filter sooner than later. Alright, so for your next step, since we're going to be doing the wiring harness as well. Oh goodness. Well, I'll worry about beautification of the bike later. It's a little loose. Luckily I packed my Allen kit in the truck. So this is my version of Tools Puttanesca, so to speak. A little joke from what was that? Lemony Snicket, the one with Jim Carrey, not the TV series, and called the Pasta Puttanesca. It's pasta with few ingredients. It's actually not what it is. It's actually like a fish pasta dish. In case any of you are curious, if there's anyone in the comments raging at the fact that I mispronounced it or didn't really expound on what a pasta puttanesca is, feel free to, you know, criticize me harshly. I'm gonna smack you. Alright, dude, get in line. Alright, nice easy access to the battery terminals. We'll be adding the wiring harness there. Anyways, back to the screwdriver. Now, unfortunately, none of these are JIS. So when you're working on a Japanese motorcycle, you'll normally want a JIS screwdriver to keep you from stripping out all of the creamy screwdriver nougat. Now, JIS bits are hard to find in the States, so try and find the closest fit you can with a regular screwdriver and try hard not to strip it. we're loosening that for later. That's for the fuel tank. Tell you what, it is a real change of pace to be working without a garage. I'm not really bothered by it. Just come on, Doofus, turn the wheel lock off. Yeah, just a little adjustment, you know. So your second step after you loosen all of your tank bits over there, as you start working on getting the shrouds off, I might recommend some sade and a couple mixed drinks, maybe some compliments. Sorry, children and parents, if you've got to explain to your kids the joke about sade, I apologize that I've opened up that uncomfortable avenue of parenting tonight. So basically you'll see here with the 5mm Allen wrench, take off your inner shroud, your cover for your radiator and all that jazz. This bottom part just pops on this little rubber doohickey. What a mess. Alright, so we got the horn, we've got the CDI, we've got the box. I'm guessing that's the dirt bike diagnostic port. You know, all that stuff that I know you guys are super interested in. So basically you just peel it off the side. Same little rubber wobble grommet that you had the side plate on with. Now I've heard that there are potential issues with mounting a tank with the Flatlands radiator guard. But if you get one of these stock and you look at the radiator guard, you're gonna understand, or the radiator stock, you're gonna understand why the first purchase you make on this bike is a radiator guard. First off, radiators are not cheap. Second off, radiators are not cheap, but also it's, you know, $70 guard for peace of mind. The last thing you want to do is, you know, be out on the trail enjoying yourself, and then all of a sudden have your bike vomiting all of its coolant on the ground. Put that in my pocket for right now. Kind of move that out of the way. Up and whoop, just pop it right off. All right, start with the creamy taint nougat. Grab our multi-tool here. Still sticking with the 5. This is a genius that is Yamaha. Really, you could be like a veritable MacGyver with a 5mm hex bit. Ooh, red Loctite. We'll be replacing that with blue Loctite because I don't have any red. So anyone care to hazard a guess what's the difference between red and blue Loctite? Well, supposedly the red will not be able to be broken by a conventional means. You have to use heat, though in my experience red Loctite's not that much stronger, but you do want to use it on high heat applications like bolts by your brake and everything. And we continue with the 5mm hex. And with all of my how-to videos, I try and make them unabridged, so if I screw up, instead of cutting me screwing up, you guys get to see what potential pitfalls you'll deal with doing this, and also laugh at my expense. You know, that's a hard angle to get that at. And honestly, if that isn't a ton of Loctite on it, I think it feels like it's already cross-threaded from the factory. Ugh. Now, I'm not trying to impersonate Arnold Schwarzenegger here. Do it. Do it now. Get in the chopper. You know, it's gotta be annoying for him. And all these randos coming up to him, telling him to yell, get in the chopper. Get in the chopper! Drive me nuts. Huh. No, I was just filled with enough Loctite to kill off a small army. Sweet! Alright, so now we should have the tank in a liftable scenario. So you have two connectors on the bottom. You want to be careful when messing with your tank because you don't want to break these fuel line connectors or anything. So this one right here is your fuel line. That's your power to your fuel pump. And now I'm starting to regret not washing this thing a little more. Apparently Mother Nature didn't get the memo about cleaning the underside of my bike. Okay, how do I get you guys off? Oh, haha. I hear having a pick or a small screwdriver would be a welcome deal. Let me see if I can get my miniature screwdriver, my multi-screwdriver to do the trick. That looks small. And that looks obtrusive. Well, let's see. Let's see. Tell you what, this is the first bike with a fuel pump I've worked on in quite a while. Last one being the Africa Twin. And that was when I did the valves on it. By the way, that's like a 6-hour job. Oh, valves on the Africa Twin, valve clearance job on the Africa Twin is not for the faint of heart. Come on, buddy. Let go of my connecto. Do we have a third hasp somewhere? Gotta be kidding me. Okay. This would be easier with a third arm. Don't fall off. So now you've seen the first hardship encountered. Alrighty. Now let's disconnect off of there, buddy. Oh man, I really wish I had my mechanic's seat here. Oh. Okay. I guess. That's rubber in there. Oh, I see. Oh, I see. Goodness, like a combination lock trying to get this stupid thing off. Alright, so basically, once you get this bottom part off, you have a little press button spot here. And you give it a yank. Alright, so now we'll get the fuel pump. How are you hooked on here? Okay, so it looks like I pull that down. Oh, I pull that down. I press both these buttons and accomplish nothing. Goodness. Okay, well that's difficult. Supposedly I should have this already pretty much ready to go. So I've done the first part. You pull down the orange bit, you push in the blue, and then you just pull it off, and apparently I'm missing a step here. Everyone else makes it look so easy. So probably for this part of the video, you probably want to go watch someone else's video on how to do this. Oh, I broke my thumbnail doing it. A little further down. Yeah, it's probably flipped. Using my neck as a third hand here. Oh, do we have some luck? Probably not. Probably just got over the first lip. It's like, haha, you think you've gotten your fuel pump off, but it was me, Dio. Oh, actually, no, got it off. All right. You only thought you got your fuel pump off, but it was me, Dio. All right, so you're going to be reusing a lot of these parts. Time for me to see if I have any Loctite in here. I know the truck's a mess. I am literally living out of my vehicle from time to time. So, you know, cut me some slack. Your garage is a mess. Well, I don't have a garage anymore, so don't gotta worry about that. Well, your truck is a mess. Well, try living out of it, dude. Tell you what, it is not a ton of fun. Anyways, this is where you start scavenging parts off your old tank. Your seat button. And I've already put on the shroud doohickey. So you see how you have these tabs here on the gas tank to slide your shrouds into? That's what IMS does. Really? if I'm gonna have enough time to get my light harness at least in. I think if I get my harness and the tank mostly put together, I'll be pretty happy with tonight. Now be careful not to get this blue Loctite on your blue tank, because it'll show up. I'm being sarcastic. A little extra Loctite never hurt anybody. Honestly, if anything, this part will probably receive a fair bit of vibration. You probably want a little extra Loctite. Alright, so we got more of these 8mm bolts. Wow, that looks sus. Nice question. Hey man, why are you working on your tank in the grass? Well, it's easy on the knees. It's easy on the eyes. Just kidding, it's not easy on the eyes. Holy crap, that's tight. Now for my next trick, I'm gonna pull the fuel pump after I get this stuff on here. There's no Loctite on it, but I'm gonna add a little bit. Yeah, I know my knees are getting a little wet, but whatever. No pain, no grain. You don't get no grain if you don't have any pain. And I'm having fish for dinner tonight. Not interesting to you guys, just there's technically grain, there's gonna be bread on it. Breaded fish. Oh, oops. Tell you what, this little multi-tool is like the MVP. And the main reason also I'm using a screwdriver multi-tool is my experience with IMS tanks, not talking crap about them, but I used to wrench the crap out of them whenever I used my sockets. So I'd extrude these little brass bits, and then I'd have to send it back, and IMS would be like, hey dummy, stop doing that. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be dumb. Eventually, this was a DR 650. I screwed the thing up so many times. They were like, look, if you do one more return on this, we're not going to honor it. Learn how to, you know, restrain yourself. So I learned how to use restraint. I've regularly pulled like pitcock brass out of a tank. So lesson learned, be gentle with these bits. You know, get them like, you know, 7-8 foot-pounds, or inch-pound torque wrench, like 80 something inch-pounds. Ugga is a pretty good method of doing it. Alright, normally at this point, you want to drain your tank. Alright, that's nearly every bit of it out of there. By the way, do this in an open area. Don't sit here and huff gasoline. I'm not even trying to be your dare cop, just saying. It's not good for the brain cells. I'll let that relax there. You got the fuel pump. And you'll want to make sure this orients essentially the same way that you pull it off, or as close to as possible, or it won't fit back on the bike. Now you're asking, hey, weren't you going to be running a wiring harness? I will. I'm just doing all this thought-intensive work first before I run the wiring harness. So this, you'll be using a 3mm I guess Yamaha decided to switch it up a little bit. They said you can't take apart the whole bike with 5mm. Come on, where's the challenge in that? Oh, a minute. Whew. Sorry, my hair's a little long, so I had to get it out of my eyes. It's starting to bother me. Yes, I know, dangerous to work with screws on a grass surface. I'm about to address that. Whoop. Ooh. I'm like, wait a second, what's that, Precious? That's taters, Taters, Precious. What's taters, And too bad YouTube's really bad about copyright stuff. I could really use some Eye of the Tiger while I do this. Alright, so you carefully pull out your fuel pump. You see your existing rubber doohickey. You're going to want to store that eventually in a safe place. And you put on your new IMS gasket. And usually you'll check for any dirt or schmutz, but I didn't see any dirt or schmutz there. And then you forget how this thing was on there. 1 second. Alrighty, so when you're reorienting your fuel pump, you gotta make sure that your nozzle's towards the top, and this collar only goes on one way. You'll see a little notch here. So make sure that you get your notch in the right place, otherwise this thing is not gonna go back together. And when you're screwing this down, do the crisscross pattern like you're doing lug nuts and everything. So I'm going to continue with this and check back in a second. I know that normally I do all my videos without any cuts, but really me screwing down 6 things is not super interesting. Be right back. I had a little call from home. I don't know why they keep on sending the missus jury duty. Whatever. That's some big connectors for this battery. You know, I think I'm gonna have to splice some new connectors on here that'll fit the battery, because this is way the heck too big for this. I could just like spin on it and glue it on. Well, heck. Well, I'll go ahead and get the tank on tonight and get it mostly put back together. Also, having to figure out where I'm going to put this relay at. Yeah, this is a pretty big relay. I could just run it up in here and drop the battery cables through there. Dang, this is a big relay. Big old relay. Well, we're gonna get the tank back together. I'll do some modifications to the lighting some other time. We'll do another video where I peel this tank back a little bit and put on some extra lights. You know, every setback is an opportunity to have another setback. Don't even let it bother me at this point. I'm just like, psh, whatever. Roll with it. Alright, anywho. Well, since I'm running out of daylight quickly, figuring out all of this wiring and stuff can just be a thing for another day. Alright. I know it feels loose, but it's because you got rubber isolators on there. You probably didn't need the Loctite on it, but whatever. Alright. Snap the fuel pump on and back in place. And that's in place. That locks up. Stab your power for the fuel pump. Put all that back in place. And then what you're going to want to do is kind of situate the tank. And yes, I totally just said situate. You want to situate the tank, because situating isn't good enough. Situate. This is Texas. You situate. Make sure you're not rubbing against anything. Make sure you're not shaved. Make sure you're not make sure you're not destroying anything by putting this tank on. It looks like everything's going on in place. So I'll do some modifications to that wiring harness, so we'll do a separate video about that. We're going to go back to the 5mm because that's the most important size on here. It's 5mm or nothing. Put it in as much as you can with your fingers. Make sure you're not cross-threading. Cinch it down. Same the other side, so we've got the fuel pump all nice and organized in there. And I know I'm making more work for myself putting all this back on before I sort out the wiring harness, but honestly, I'd rather take my time with that and make sure I do it right. Or at least do it in such a slapdash manner you guys can't believe your eyes. What the heck? Oh, one of my shoulders. Alright, we're going to bend this one slightly out. There we go. Give it a little, just a little tweak. Don't wrench on it, because you will destroy it. Damn, I'm really not liking this. Alright. What freaking gives here? Ain't been out a smidge more. I'm just a little nervous about just alright, so now we've bent it out 1/8 of an inch. Oh, that's the magic formula. Well, let's see. Bit of gas in there. Hey, if I catch it on fire, we'll know that it has a leak. Well, I don't see any gas pouring out, so I think I'll escape a fiery death this time. It definitely does look a little wider than the stock tank. See how it feels. Huh. It's actually not shabby. Yeah, I know I'm nearly out of gas. Actually, I'll run this a little longer, see if I'm catching anything on fire. No leaks. We'll see if we have anything out here tomorrow. Well, if you like the content, like and subscribe. If you like seeing me work in the dark, feel free to leave some interesting language my way. If you're mad at me for the environmental damage, feel free to threaten me within reason, you know, don't get into trouble over it, but, you know, feel free to lambaste me in the comments. In the meantime, you guys have a good night, and hopefully this is helpful to somebody. Granted, not really much of a wiring and tank guide if I do it in the dark, but proof positive you can do it in the dark. In the meantime, have a good one.